Father, God, are we live? Let me see up in this. Okay, I believe indeed we are live. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I feel like I haven't done this in 11 centuries. Like, that's literally how I feel when I have not been on live for all of 2 days. I feel like I indeed have not done this in 11 centuries. What's going on, Nikki McClaim? We should for future references, but not on her behalf, because as long as they paid her what she wanted, everything was cool. She didn't say, oh God, Nikki, you going straight in, girl. I ain't even got through a damn intro, honey, and Nick McClam is going clean off with the hell to the niz all. What's going on? And Happy New Year. Sorry about that. I'm using my damn hotspot. Somebody just called me. My Wi-Fi is acting like janky. I don't know why people call you back to back to back. Like, if I sent you to the voicemail the first time, what that indefinitely means is I'm going to send your black ass. Okay, I'm back. Every time I get to doing my work, people want to call and interrupt me. So I almost want to do this all over again, okay? Because that intro just fucked me all the way up. But Happy New Year, okay? Yes, they were still calling, honey. I'm just like, look, if I done sent you to the voicemail like 2-3 motherfuckers, like, stop it. I don't understand. Like, do people think that your phone is not ringing on the other end? Or do they think that if they just call enough, you will then, like, your brain is going to register that shit as an emergency? They're going to pick up because I'm going to not answer the 100th time. Also, anyway, I hope you guys are having a, what? Hold on, Tremel. I just video called you on Instagram and you got your ass up in my live. And I video chatted you on Instagram. You did not pick up, motherfucker. But thank you. You guys check out Tremel. That's Tremel from G Status, honey. He pushing these singles and his music out. Definitely check out his YouTube page. You see it right there, honey. It's simply Tremel, okay? Do Not Disturb works during the day. You know, I can't put I don't know how to use Do Not Disturb. Like, all I know is airplane mode. Like, I'll just shut the whole motherfucking device. Clean the fuck off. Like, that's how I work. Clean off. Cut it clean off. Happy New Year. What's going on? Giving love. Hey, Bonnie and Sophie. Entertainment. Nene needs to take several seats on several rows. What's going on, Steffi? You are truly a blessing to my daughter, Jazz, and I. She's even Mrs. Oh, my goodness. That is so dope. I just posted something for the Empaths on the community feed. I have so much content to push out for you guys. This is one of those videos. I got to come back and give you guys some pre-recorded stuff too, okay? So we got a lot to get into. I don't want to keep you guys long. I am going to open up the stream though, so you guys can chime in. Obviously, you guys definitely have a lot to say about the subject, okay? Tremel, I will be. Fuck, you better return my video chat, okay? So you guys already know, okay? Hold on. hello to all new subscribers. If this is your first time here, I am your host, Conscious TV. Okay, make sure that you comment, rate, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you may keep up with all of my latest uploads. Also, I want to thank all of my donators. Okay, thank you guys. I've gotten your Cash Apps and your PayPals. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you guys are going to have a better 2021, okay, than you had a 2020, okay? I got a feeling, though, that the worst is not quite behind us just yet, so step your pussy up. What's going on, Jennifer? Nene has been canceled. Oh, girl. Okay, we're going to get into it. So you guys already know that Nene has been going through a lot, okay, since she and Bravo have parted ways. There's been some confusion about whether Nene has been fired or whether she quit. But according to Nene, it seemed like Bravo kind of etched her out. A lot like what a lot of businesses do when they don't want to fire a employee because they don't want to pay you that good old unemployment. So what they do is diminish your hours. For her, it was diminishing her scenes. Maybe renegotiate your pay and pay you less. Okay. For her, they started paying her less. So they eventually gave her enough reasons to just kind of make a choice to leave, okay, so that it didn't appear that there was any shady shit or unfairness on Bravo's end. And I don't know why companies do this, because it doesn't hide their hand at all. It only puts the bigger emphasis on what the fuck is going on and makes one go down the rabbit hole, okay? So Nene Leakes walked away from Bravo, and she has been in her feelings since, okay? Now, when she first parted from Bravo, she had a lot of choice words for Andy Cohen. I think that there were accusations of Andy Cohen being a racist, him making racist remarks, also Bravo being racist. You guys know that Mariah from Married to Medicine, she also, I don't think she made claims of racism per se, but she also talked about her difficulty being the executive producer of the show because Mariah is responsible for Married to Medicine. That was her concept. Those were her ladies. But her executive title didn't give her any other power. It was just a vain title. She was not involved in a lot of the choices and the dynamics and the narrative of the show. She didn't really have any pull. And ultimately, she also got ciphered out of her own creation because we also know that Mariah disappeared for a season or two, and the girls also galvanized and booted her ass out because at some point she became the show villain. Now, that was partially due to the fact that for a while, Mariah was just a unlikable character. She was very haughty, very arrogant, kind of the same thing that Nene has become over her growth in the show. There's been a arrogance. There's been, as you know, just a narcissism and a I'm better than and a haughtiness. And, you know, that can turn the audience off, certainly. And certainly, if you have co-stars, you put yourself in an interesting position being that bitch, okay, by being a bitch. What's going on, Miss B-Town? Tremel says, sounds like favoritism. You know how I feel about that? Yes, we do, Tremel. And you know what? I'm going to touch on some of that stuff too, okay? Because I think that there's something to be said about a lot of the moving parts happening when it comes to situations like this and networks, etc. Do I believe that racism is an element here? Of course, anything white owned, okay? Anything that, no shade to white people, all shade to white people. Any place white people can be, there's always going to be a potential for racial bias, racism, etc. But also when it comes to things like this, you also have, as Tremel just said, you have favoritism, which is an element too. Naturally, people are going to like who they like and don't like who they like. And when you're in a position of power and you are in proximity to somebody who you don't like, you can use your favoritism or the fact that you don't like them to treat them unfairly. Unfair treatment goes on between black and white people without racism always being an element too. Sometimes it just comes down to the fact that, bitch, I don't like you, okay? And I'd rather see you a lot less, or I'd rather not work with you for whatever reason, etc. Also, I think Nene is the only melanated woman right now claiming this when it comes to Bravo Network. if I'm not mistaken, you guys tell me, has there been any other Black and brown women from Bravo, particularly the Real Housewives franchise, that have complained about any type of racial discrimination aside from Nene Leakes? Harris Lade, thank you so much. You know what? I'm going to get into this hair later, but thank you. Hey, Will Blanky, is it Blanky? I'm butchering your name. What's going on, Will? Happy New Year. Jennifer, Mariah became a damn joke along with her mother, Miss Lucy is off the fucking chain. I saw Andy's BS a long time ago. Nope, just Nene. Okay, Nikki said nope, just Nene. Okay, I saw Andy's BS a long time ago. The only problem I have with Nene is when she's getting them checks. Where is all this then? Okay, so let's get into it, right? Because I want to kind of give my commentary, then I want to give you guys time to jump on and also talk y'all shit too, okay? I also have some issues. So now that Nene has severed her ties with Bravo, apparently she's calling for a protest. Last night, I went to Nene's YouTube page and I checked out her video, and I think her and her attorney had went live on Instagram and kind of explained what the motive was for this boycott, okay? Apparently, the fans also have made a petition that's going around where the fans get to sign off on this petition in order to boycott the network, okay? Now, Nene, I don't know if Nene is unclear about what exactly she wants, because in the video, she was communicating that she didn't want to communicate everything on social media. She wanted to have a private sit down with Bravo, work out some things, talk about some things. So I'm still left with 101 questions in terms of why exactly are we boycotting. Also, Nene hasn't produced any receipts to really galvanize the level of support she would need, especially with such a claim, even though we're conveniently living within a time where you don't really need a lot of receipts to add substance to claims of racism, right? Because there's a lot of that shit going on within our judicial system, going on within our laws, going on within from Black and brown people's relationship to police, etc. So it's not a far cry even without no goddamn receipts. But here's one of my issues with Nene, right? One of my issues with Nene, and I think that a lot of people, obviously a lot of people within this chat also kind of are resistant to taking Nene seriously. One of those reasons why it's difficult to take Nene Leakes serious about her claims with Bravo is because, for one, Nene always has a habit of demonizing people in the most extreme way when she's not getting what she wants. Before she accused Bravo of racism, she also accused her good white, blonde-haired, big wig girlfriend, Kim Zolciak, of racism. She accused Kim Zolciak of racism, I think, season 3, season 4 into the show, when her and Nene Leakes' relationship, when her and Kim's relationship fell apart. Nene then took to the reunion and essentially accused Kim Zolciak of being racist then, okay? Then she did all of that, implied that Kim was mistreating Kim's assistant. I forgot Kim's assistant, the black girl with the micro braids. Is it Sweetie? Sweetie, I think her name is Sweetie. Sweetie was Kim's personal assistant, and Nene, in a roundabout way, say, look, you're mistreating that girl. There's probably some racist undertone there. And then Nene, like a season or two later, my throat is getting parched, boo. Nene, like a season or two later, turned around and made up with Kim Zolciak. She turned around and invited Kim Zolciak to her wedding. Kim showed up to the wedding. Kim was on Nene's wedding special. And it's just like, wait, are we going to forget that you made all these claims against this white woman, villainized her character, stigmatized her in a way that's very difficult to undo once you have the title of racist and you're the only token white cast member in an all-black ensemble? And you did all that, assaulted that woman's character, defamed her in that way just to make up with her. And that's one of my fucking issues is Nene doesn't even believe the shit she says about people. She don't even believe it. Nene is the kind of person who says what she needs to say, okay, in order to destroy you molecule by molecule, okay? She doesn't make these claims because there's anything substantial within them. She doesn't make these claims because there's a reality to them. It's just a matter of, I'm going to find the most obvious negative thing I can say about you because I don't like you. For whatever reasons, I don't like you. You're not being a good friend to me. You're not bowing down to me. You're not making me Lord and Savior. Conscious had your Cash App for us. Okay, my Cash App is across the stream, boo. It's Conscious TV on Cash App with the $ and Conscious with the Z, of course. And thank you in advance if you're Cash Apping the kid. I love you so much. God bless you. So you know, so I'm just like, girl, I can't do the rape. I don't know if I can do the racist thing with you, Nene, because you have a habit of pulling that out of your ass just for the sake of pulling it out your ass. Just like she came for Cynthia, okay? When her and Cynthia fell out, she went to the most extreme by suggesting to Cynthia's boss, which is Andy Cohen himself, on Watch What Happens Live, and saying that this woman didn't really bring anything to the goddamn show, and, you know, that there isn't any real reason for her to be there, which is why Cynthia kept saying, you tried to take food off my plate. What type of person does that? All because we're not getting along? Now you're racist? All because we're not getting along? Now you don't deserve to work here and you don't deserve your bread and butter? Like, it's the extremity for me, sis. Nene also turned around and did the very same thing to Portia and to Phaedra Parks. Now, you know, her and Phaedra had a long, weird, wobble history, okay? A feuding, okay? They finally made up when Phaedra started going through her divorce with Apollo, okay? Her and Nene started getting close. Candy felt a little bit of a way about that closeness, okay? But then when Candy, and Portia and Phaedra fell out over the whole, you know, take you down to the dungeon accusation, Nene once again was on Watch What Happens Live in front of their boss saying she would have these two girls fired, okay? Just to only try to make up with Portia in future in future seasons. And it's just like Nene has a habit of trying to destroy people for over high school shit. You don't call me enough. You wasn't there for me when I had to wipe Greg's asshole. You wasn't there to hold my wig up, okay? When Greg had to do number 2. And because she falls out with people, she doesn't mind, okay, anything happening to the people who she falls out with, even if it's overkill, even if it's a false equivalency. Like, girl, if we fall out, talk your shit. Talk your shit about me. Say what you need to say. But why are you assaulting my character? Why are you calling me racist? Why are you implying to my boss I no longer need to be employed? All because we're not getting along. Not getting along with you should not equate to such severe punishment. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you for me to be punished in such a way for not getting along with you? Like, there's a bit of a God complex there, and I just can't fucking stand it, okay? So now we've seen this pattern with Miss Nene Leakes in lots of her friendships, right? So now we get to the issue of her claiming that Bravo is racist. Now let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. She be flipping too much, makes her not credible. Not right, Tramel. I think Nene hated Phaedra, knew the real Nene. Jennifer, you might be onto something there. I believe Todd tried to screw Portia. I said, you know what, Jennifer? You know what? You know what? Okay, anyway. So now let's get up to this racism in Bravo, okay? Now here it is, the same person who doesn't get along with anybody, who's made these claims about other people, not because they were racist, but just because she was no longer getting along with their ass, is now saying the network is discriminating against her pay and is discriminating against her presence on the show based on racism. Well, there are two issues that I have there with that. That wouldn't seem to be true, because if that was the case, Nene Leakes would have never been able to be the it girl to begin with. Nene Leakes would have never got spinoffs, and she did. She got a wedding spinoff. She also went on to do bigger and better things. She's even still to this day the highest paid Atlanta housewives. I mean, at one point in time, they cut her a 1.2, 1.5 check. She was making millions. She was signing $1 million contracts to participate in these shows. If your black, brown ass was being discriminated in the way that you're claiming, honey, you would have never even been able to be the actual star of the show, which you, I, and everyone acknowledge you being. Everyone acknowledged you being that. But second of all, I can believe I can believe racism exists within Bravo. I can believe that because it's white owned. Its forefather, its mascot is a whole white queer male. I can believe there's racism there. But I'm not sure if I believe that racism applies in the area that Nene is claiming that racism implies. To me, it seems as though Nene is just once again upset for the reason she's upset with, and now it's time to slander accordingly, okay? Now it's time to overkill accordingly, like I, Nene Leakes, am known to do. Now it's time to go overboard, because that's what I do as Nene. I go overboard when I'm pressed and feeling away, okay? Now, because everything within America, because there's no place in America, racism doesn't exist, right? That means that at the end of the day, we still have to do something about racism. Because as long as white people are running everything from media to government to the rain that falls from the clouds itself, that means that there's a potential for racism to be in every crevice, nook, and cranny of our society. So we as a people have to combat racism. But people here have also said it here today that people have said it here today that matter of fact, let me go back up. Let me go back up and read y'all comments. I mean, read the comments, okay? Let me see here. Nope. Let me see. Spoke about this. Okay, yeah. So Nene Leakes. This is another one of my issues, right? But I want us to all listen carefully on this part, okay? Because this is where the shit gets a little complex, right? Everybody here is stating we can't take Nene Leakes seriously because you were fine cutting those racist checks and working for a racist network because Massa was essentially treating you well. Massa was treating you right. So we don't care now that Massa has bit you in your ass and disposed of you, and you were cool with the fool la la. You was cool with being a house nigga, okay? Because you were in the fucking house. So now that you're on the plantation and you're picking cotton with the rest of us, girl, like, no, you don't all of a sudden get to galvanize the people because there's an injustice that has happened, right? I get that. And I totally agree with people's sentiments because at the end of the day, if you play the game and the game comes and sets your ass ablaze, all is fair in love and game playing. But what also makes this kind of a complex issue for me, at least, is that because there's an issue of racism within this country, it means that most Black and brown people have learned to adapt to racism, which is a tragedy. One of the greatest tragedies of modern America is that its Black and brown occupants have adapted to racist dynamics. What I mean by that is that most of us as Black and brown people live alongside, work alongside, work for institutions and companies, and get hired by people who we know are racist. And we deal with those dynamics because it seems that there's nothing else you can do about racism but navigate around it rather than to defend yourself against it. Now, I'm willing to believe that Nene Leakes may have saw and experienced certain dynamics and scenarios within her time working with an all-white network. Of course, as a Black and brown person, she more than likely has. But we also have a Nene Leakes who also is manipulative. So now we feel like we're between a rock and a hard place because we're having to have the back of somebody who doesn't even have their own back enough to have put their foot down sooner than later. Sooner because it would have counted sooner. Instead of coming back and crying your woeful tears to your people. Because what that implies is that when you were showing up for Bravo and you were cashing Donald Trump checks and you were cashing $1 million checks from Bravo, is that you was aware of the racism then. You was aware of the way that racism impacted other melanated women who are employed by Bravo. And you were silent because you were good. You were good. You were good. So now, because you're not, does it mean that we need to bulldoze through Bravo? I'm going to say yes. But we don't need to bulldoze Bravo for Nene. Because even if we believe that Nene deserved what she got because she played the game, the truth is we need to bulldoze it for all the melanated people who are not going to get their foot through the door at all because there is racist elements there. We also need to do it because there's going to be people who don't deserve to be treated unfairly. There are Black and brown people who are going to continue to be used and objectified, okay, if we don't do something about this network. So I believe that we should stand behind Nene, but not necessarily for Nene, but stand behind her on principle. Because there's good, honest, working people who are being mistreated by Bravo who don't know that that treatment is related to the issue of racism. So changing that system now makes that system better for future melanated people who we do want to see cash $1 million checks, who we do want to see make it in life, who we do want to see make it out of the barrel. Because you cannot like Nene and still agree that the circumstances and the dynamics need to be rectified. Where's my drink? Because I'm parched, honey. I'm parched. Now, let me refer to my notes real quick. Okay, so this is what I want to touch on. One of the issues with us adopting to racism, I understand why we have, because once again, we feel powerless, okay? White people own it. White people run everything. White people have stolen the power that they use against everyone else. So we don't know what to do about racism other than to work with it, to work around it, rather than to actually, we don't know what to do about destroying it, okay? So all Black and brown people are tolerating racism on one level or another because it's so deeply encrypted and embedded into the very infrastructure of our society and our country, because who the gatekeepers are, who the forefathers are of this country, okay? So all of us are tolerant of racism because we don't know what to do with racism. Now, if she wanted to be an advocate, why? Well, we know why now, Mika, because it affects Nene. Because Nene is being wrongfully impacted. You know, we only are doing this now because Nene is the one impacted, child. So that's that. But there also needs to be a question of what are we going to do as a people about racism? What are we going to fucking do? Because nearly all of our institutions, nearly every area of our life and our society is under its influence. And we've got to have a bigger question about what our strategy is, what Black and brown people need to do, what standing on code and being on code as a people really means, okay? And we're going to need some integral, effective strategies to change the motherfucking game, or our people are going to continue to be used and objectified and disposed of accordingly. Thank you. You're really like pretty. Thank you. Thank you. I straightened it today. Thank you. The American Dream, apple pie, baseball, and racism. Okay. Now, one of the things I think, okay, I want y'all, tell me if y'all agree with this. One of the things that I think that we need to do as the Black and brown people, we need to start owning our shit, okay? Because one of the things that Nene mentioned within her video with her attorney was that Bravo owns all of the rights to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So when the Real Housewives of Atlanta is streaming on Netflix, or you guys are watching it in first class or on your, you know, flights, etc., that they're not making a dime. That the reality stars themselves don't make a dime off of that. That what they make is a sum total of what they negotiate in their contracts initially. That's their only pay from the show. So that means that when Bravo lends or allows other medias of streamed housewives, Bravo makes that coin, but not the girls. Well, that's because none of these individuals have chosen to own shit. See, one of the differences between Black and white people is that white people don't mind wearing Walmart slacks, Walmart button-ups while they make millions, because they're going to own, because they're going to use their wealth to first and foremost own and patent shit. And then they'll get to the glamour. What we do as successful Black people is we use our wealth to produce the glamour first, bitch. We're going to use our millions to get the house, to get the cars, to get the weaves, to get the surgeries. We're going to put on for the girls because it's important for us to look like we've made it rather than actually fucking making it. So one of the fatal issues that we have as a melanated people is we don't know how to think long-term about wealth, okay? And this is how we keep getting hoodwinked and bamboozled by these systems, because these systems think long-term and they think ownership, okay? That's what their priorities are when they get sufficient coin. We're owned, okay? And then from owning it, okay, we will sell and borrow and lend our goods, and off of the residual, bitch, we will live well. But you never go for living well off the top. When you go to get your first millions, bitch, you think business and ownership first. You get to living glamorously after the fact. And I can remember what all of these girls did after their first seasons. They came back with new titties. They came back with bigger houses. They came back with luxury cars. They came back with clothing lines and boutiques. They came back with stuff, but they didn't come back with any fucking ownership. But this also brings me to my next point. This is why we have to support Black people doing bootleg shit initially. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of the web series online, but there's some gay web series that have kind of, there've been criticisms about the quality of the shows, okay? The camera work could be better, the sound quality could be better, etc., okay? All things that are true. All things that I'm sure will improve over time, right? But one of the things we have to be careful of is not discouraging our people when they have humbled beginnings. Because a lot of times what's happening when we see a lot of Black-owned businesses kind of be within a raggedy state, especially when it comes to media, when it comes to music, when it comes to the world of entertainment, okay, is that what a lot of those people are doing is staying in possession of their shit. Because when we start complaining that, oh, the quality is bad and this just looks real EBT-ish, this looks real Section 8-ish, what happens is you start pushing and putting Black content creators, Black producers, Black writers, Black filmmakers, Black musicians, Black-owned music labels, you start putting them in a situation to prioritize aesthetic over ownership. And what happens a lot of times, because we start going for the aesthetic, is we will sell our shit out in order to get signed to a larger label or a larger institution, okay? So that we can galvanize the coin to make this look good, but on the back end, we've given up our ownership. We've given up our ownership. So our name is still slapped on it. And now the quality of the product has gone up. But I also just got written out of my rights. Because in order to get that quality up, I had to sell my shit to a bigger network who had the resources to visually make this thing truly TV worthy. I'm okay with supporting raggediness if it means Black people remaining and having ownership over their shit, okay? Because in time, as we continue to build according for ourselves, as we begin to continue to refine our systems and define the support and to make things interesting enough for our people and our tribe members to support, eventually the money and the resources will roll in. They would just roll in later rather than sooner, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. At the end of the day, we need ownership. Ownership. And what's also sad about this is a lot of these Black women have gotten bamboozled because the truth is they didn't know shit about business going in. As Nene Leakes said it out of her own mouth, we signed our lives away. We just signed these contracts. We didn't know what we was doing. That's a problem. Black entrepreneurs, those blacks that have made it out of the ghetto, those blacks that have made it out of the hood, those blacks that have made it out of the barrow. This is why it's significant for us to have a, this is why it's important for there to be a intergenerational transference of wealth that has to come by way of the middle and upper class coming back into lower income urban communities and holding seminars and teaching the people at the bottom the politics at the top, so that people have a ladder to work themselves up from, so that people have a knowledge base to expound upon. And we don't have our own successful melanated people who have successfully cracked the glass ceiling, okay? We don't have them coming back for the lower class. Hold on. Now, somebody said, a JB said they would never do that. Well, they need to. And we need to apply the corrective measures to our own people, okay? We need to bend their motherfucking hand, because the scriptures say that my people and all people will perish for a lack of knowledge. People can't successfully do what they don't know how to successfully do. There's no knowledge base to inform me. So I'm bound to be taken advantage of. I'm bound to be fucking exploited. Okay? And there's a lack of knowledge base within our own community. See, white people, Europeans within this country teach their children business. From here, you have little Nancy has a whole lemonade stand. She's already selling water, lemon. How many motherfucking ice cubes you need, bitch? What are we doing for our children other than buying them toys and putting them on bikes and giving them PS4s? Okay? So that they can have a fun childhood. Yeah, they need to have a very educational childhood too. And I ain't talking about the curriculum that the school system offers, because we know that the American school system does not teach business and doesn't teach melanated and brown people their economics. That's something that we personally are going to have to be proactive in implementing and providing to our community and to our children. We're going to have to do that. If you think that the American system is going to publicly do anything that can potentially elevate socially, spiritually, and economically, politically, any marginalized and minority group, we got it completely fucked up. We got it completely fucked up, because they're not. This is going to have to start with self. This stuff is going to have to start at home, okay? And while we're being mindful of making sure that we take our children to Dave and Buster's and taking them to the park and taking them to the state fair and doing all those things, we also need to be putting our children in camps. We need to be putting our children in workshops during the summer. We need to be finding and informing our community of who our community empowerment leaders are, okay? We need to be requesting their presence at our schools, requesting their presence in our communities. We need to be creating the space and being passionate about our future collectively as melanated people. Monique walked away with her dignity. Fan for life. And you know why she was able to do that? Because Monique made sure that she made it before she made audition for the Real Housewives of Potomac. That's why she didn't have to sell her soul. Because she made sure that she made it before Bravo could be responsible for her making it. And that's why she had leverage. That's why she was able to sit back and really say, is this what's healthy for me? I'm able to not have to contemplate the check or the fame because my coin is complete. I have my husband and my family. I'm where I want to be in life. So now all I have to think about is this worth the headache? Do I need the headache? I don't need the money. Got that. Don't need the relevancy. Now I have that for sure. So do I need the fucking headache? And she decided she didn't need the motherfucking headache. And my heart broke when Nene said, we signed these contracts and we didn't know what we were doing. Because the truth is, most of our people don't know shit about business. Most of our Black and brown people don't know nothing about having business, producing business, and what resources are actually afforded to us. We know nothing about how to get it started, where to get it started, and how to exacerbate our wealth and our opportunities. That's something going forward we're going to have to change. Let me see if I'm complete with my notes here, because I'm going to also open up the stream in case you guys want to chime in on Nene Leakes boycotting. Okay, bravo. The boycott, okay? Are you going to support Nene in boycotting? Why or why not? Where did I put my notes? I have no idea where I put my notes. Oh, I think I put my notes here. Yeah, she did it the right way. She did it the right way, Jennifer. Okay, yes. Because Oprah Winfrey said, own it, baby. Beyonce said that the best advice that Oprah Winfrey ever gave to her was own your shit. Why has Beyonce been able to have a successful long-term career? Because Beyonce made her priority in owning her shit. Owning her shit. Beyonce owns her management, which means that she owns her motherfucking image. And she owns her motherfucking time. Owns it. That's why she can be on the run, because Beyonce runs her shit. Ownership. Keyword for us as a people, buzzword, emphasis word, it's now going to have to be ownership. 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 Say it with me, class. Owner what? Ship. Ownership. Now let me put the link in here in case any of you guys want to jump on and give your thoughts. You guys can click the link to join the stream. Nikki McClam says this is why that don't want to run reruns if the Cosby Show, because they will have to pay Cosby for the reruns. They run on that. Right. This is also what what's the comedian? What's the comedian? What's the guy? Big comedian, famous comedian. I can't believe his name is slipped me, but he just also kind of applied some pressure to Netflix. What is his name? My God. What is the guy? It's right there. I have his face in my mind, but his name. What is the comedian bald head? Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle just applied pressure to Netflix. Take his shit down. Because he wasn't getting paid. He wasn't getting paid for that shit. Okay. Now I don't know whether Dave Chappelle has now worked out his contract with whoever owns the Dave Chappelle show, because Netflix was running the Dave Chappelle show and they didn't have to go through Dave Chappelle. And that's money that's left on the floor that's not there for you to collect when you don't own your shit. Because whoever does own the Dave Chappelle show is able to sell the show. It's able to loan the show temporarily to a network for a real cute fee. Those royalty checks are going to somebody other than you. And that's really a shame, especially when reality stars are literally the face of the brand. They're the face of the brand. It's not the editors. It's not the producers. The show is ultimately successful because of its castmates. Its castmates is the blood and the heart of the fucking show. And the fact that they only get cut one fucking check, and that's when they go to renegotiate their contracts for the next season, if they even are invited back to the show. Contrast to all the coin that the network makes, because the network has all the power over the name. It's nuts. Because had wanted by NBC and can do things his way. A lot of people end up dead, if you notice as well, and or a lot of controversy ends up around a lot of Black and brown people's names when they start owning their shit. Now, I'm not really familiar with this, but I believe that Cosby was in negotiations before he got locked up, which came at a convenient time, okay, when he was seeking ownership or acquired ownership. And then all of a sudden, boom, all these motherfucking allegations of rape and sexual assault and abuse came against him, okay? I think something happened similarly to Michael Jackson, too, who was in the process of owning some shit. I forgot. I'm not too familiar with it, so I'm butchering this, too. But apparently, it was the same situation for Michael Jackson. But a lot of our stars who went for ownership, they got hunted down and either put away or mysteriously fucking died, okay? When they brought motherfuckers out of contracts and took ownership of their shit. With Glee, the Apprentice and Show cameo, she could have ran with it. She thought that the star was going to shine forever. And you know what's so funny about that? Nene said that in the video. She said, I never thought I would ever be in this predicament. How can you not? Before there was any Nene Leaks, you were looking at the careers of plenty of others that came before you in general. You know that there's an expiration date on this type of shit. You have to be thinking long term. You have to be going beyond the bounds. And it's just unfortunate because this is the way that we think. We as Black people live so much in the moment, and we're so trustworthy. We're so trustworthy. We really give people the benefit of a doubt. We really do believe that we have working relationships, okay? And we don't make the type of provisions we should because we trust so much. Trust that we're going to be treated right. Trust that because we kiki and I gave you an opportunity and I'm making it happen for you, you're making it happen for me, that you will continue to do right by me because I'm going to intend to do right by you. Let me tell you something about white people and about business, okay? There's no humanity in business. Business is all numbers and all contracts. And what you don't seal in red writing, what you don't seal, okay, contractually, your ass will eventually be snuffed out of. When it comes to business, these are not your neighbors. And if you're seeking and expecting virtue, yeah, you're going to find yourself hoodwinked. There's no virtue in the current business model of America. The current business model of America is completely left-brain and masculine. That's why business in America is more so dominated by men. Men operate from a from a non-empathetic place, okay? Men are experts in the literal, okay? They think intellectually. They don't think or feel from here. Women do. Women do. But because men dominate and because of patriarchy, our current business model is all head. It's all strategy. It's all manipulation. It's all greed. It's all about more, and how to outsmart your component. It's about seeing the other as an opponent and not as a friend. But when you're operating from here, you see everyone as a neighbor, everyone as family, everyone as community, everyone as friend, everyone as lover, when you're operating in your life from here. And a lot of times, especially in business, people who operating from here are constantly coming into contact with people who operating here. And then people who operating from here are left on the curb looking stupid and without their resources and having everything snatched and stolen from them and don't know what happened. Yeah, what happened is that motherfucker was on another note. Walking this plane, walking this lane, but playing the game a different way. Walking the same path, but got on different shoes. Do you believe this is Nene's karma? You know, I think that everything makes full circle, Mika. I believe everything makes full circle. I believe that this is karma both for Bravo and for Nene. Nene has been terrible at times. Nene has been unfair and selfish and full of herself and superior. And so she's getting her share of an ass whipping. But Bravo has also been improper and biased and egotistical and unfair in its ethics as well in terms of how it's treated its compadres and its workers. So karma is also using Nene to expose Bravo. Karma is working equally in both Nene and Bravo. Nene's getting her ass whipped, but because Bravo is out of order too, karma is using Nene to bring negative publicity to Bravo. So they both have corrections that need to be made. Both of them have corrections that need to be made. There's a reflection and a woman in the mirror that Nene needs to sit down and have a long talk with. She needs to listen to a lot of the criticism and feedback and data that she is able to extrapolate from the criticisms that have come from the people around her about her. Because Nene is very defensive and very against the criticisms about her from those who have to endure and suffer her. She played with fire, her ass got bit. The same way that Jaguar Wright spilled everybody else's tea, and then the karma of that summoned forth Tasha K, who then came about and spilled all of Jaguar Wright's tea. Karma is always in the business of killing as many birds that needs to be killed with one fucking stone. One fucking stone. Karma is one bitch who takes care of every bitch. Conscious TV, what would you like to see Nene do? Well, Nene is on to something right now. If her plight is true and there's basis for discrimination, well, for one, let me just back up a little bit and say this. This is something, because now that you asked that, I'm thinking to myself now, Nene, see, one of the other reasons why it's hard for me to take Nene seriously about her claims about racial discrimination from Bravo is because why are you willing to sit at the table? Because those were her words. I just want to have a conversation with Bravo off camera, outside of a courtroom, I just want us personally, as a TV network family, sit down and figure some things out. But if you've been racially discriminated against, there are clauses within the law that give you grounds for major fucking lawsuits that can financially prosper your ass and rectify a lot of things that you don't have to trust Bravo to do without the assistance of the law applying forced pressure to their ass to bring forth corrective measure. So why would you rather take a chance and sit down with Bravo behind closed doors as if y'all still a family and work through some things? If a company has racially discriminated against me and I'm out of business, I'm out of coin, I'm out of resources, I'm out of power, I'm out of ownership, bitch, I'm not trying to have a heart-to-heart with the company. I'm going straight to the motherfucking law. Attorney is not going to be on Instagram with me entertaining a conversation about going behind closed doors to rectify things, bitch. We're going straight before the judge. And I'm bringing all of my receipts, all of my claims, all of my data, all of my eyewitnesses, honey, and we're about to drag Bravo for fucking life, honey. I'm going to Mario Kart bang all of the fucking coins that are entitled to me right out of the scalp of Bravo. I don't understand. Now, I'm not sure if Beyonce owns her masters, but I know that Beyonce owns enough shit to be in control. But I'm not sure if Beyonce owns her masters. But I know she owns enough shit to be in motherfucking control. She encouraged the mess. She wants her peach and more. She's not concerned about discrimination. And I think we all know that. We all know that, you know. But considering that Mariah was also done wrong and has talked about her not being a part of certain executive meetings and not you know, being invited into certain spaces that based upon her show title as executive producer, there seems to be something there within the ethical practices of Bravo, okay, that need to be dealt with. It's just unfortunate because Nene is probably the wrong person for this type of a job. And it's a shame when you have a truth being told by a liar. And I'm not saying Nene is a liar, but I mean liar in terms of Nene is too problematic herself. And it's unfortunate that now that she may need people to take her seriously, but because she hasn't behaved in any serious matter up until this point, this may fall by the wayside. It just may fall by the fucking wayside. She may be on her own in this situation. And it sucks. It sucks. But, you know, the best thing that Nene can do, provide the receipts. And I think that the people will stand behind her irregardless. But because the people don't trust her, they're going to need those receipts instead. So cough up the proof, baby. Show where it is you've been racially discriminated against. You've said a lot, but you haven't shown anything. And with all of the things you've said, you've still been willing to sit down with these people and work things out. Even after she like nailed Andy Cohen to a cross after he had Wendy Williams on the show and she called him a racist and did all of that. She turned around right on her YouTube channel and did a live and said that, you know, she just wants to work things out. But it's like you can't say people are being this villainous and being this demonic and being this inhumane and abusive, and you can't like cry and be this dramatic and, you know, carry on just to turn around and be like, but I'm willing to like sit down and work things out. Like, bitch, what? It's like literally the girl, it's the wig that cried wolf. Nene is literally the wig that cries wolf. And it sucks. And I feel bad for her. Nene waited too long to cry foul. Nene is riding the Black Lives Matter movement. She is being, it feels opportunist. It feels opportunist, even if there's some merit there, but it's just too convenient now because you aren't calling Bravo out at your height. You're not calling Bravo out at a time where everything is going just fine. It's just so convenient that now, 11,000 seasons later, you're not a part of the show, and now you want to blow the whistle, and nobody cares. Nobody's going to care. And the same advice I have for Nene is the same advice I have for Jaguar Wright. Nobody really cares. I mean, people are going to listen because people are just low vibrating, and they're going to listen to salacious, slanderous, accusatory bullshit because that's just what people do. But nobody is literally for real about what they're hearing from you because you wanted to play the game with these people when you thought it was an opportunity for you to sit at the table with them and win. And now you're talking shit, disgruntled, frizzy, and fried because now that you aren't invited to the table and now that they've booted you out of the club, you now have all this to say. And even if the things that you're saying is true, the reason why you're saying these things now is what people have an issue with. Even if what you're saying is true. But it's the circumstances that you're telling this truth under because it serves you. Not because you are a person of principle, not because you are a person of virtue, not because you're some righteous person who stands up for injustice and stands up for the right thing. This is self-serving. Even if it will serve us to deal with the truth. But the context in which you're telling us this is just too convenient. It's too convenient. Too convenient. It seems disingenuous and opportunistic. What is that conversation going to mean when these people have allegedly mistreated? That's what I don't understand. How are you going to make these claims that you've been discriminated against based upon race, and you want so you want to sit down behind closed doors with racists and smooth things over? Like, this doesn't even make any fucking sense. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. If I'm saying these motherfuckers are homophobic or racist, the only way that we're going to rectify it, bitch, is through the courts. What are we going to negotiate with? The fact that you're racist already, you're already an irrational person. So there's nothing to fucking talk about. You being racist, you are an illogical person. Only illogical, irrational people can be racist. So what are we possibly going to work out? What the fuck are you talking about, Nene? Like, this is the girl, it's girl. You know what? I'm trying to work with her here. I'm trying to be both-sided here. But y'all about to Nene, I don't understand. I don't get it. If they are racist now, they were racist when she was collecting a check from them. What's going on, baby? What's going on, nutritionists? Happy New Year, boo. Look, I put the link in here. Like, you know what? These people drive me insane. Like, I be needing Adderall and shit just to fucking try to find the sense, girl. I be trying to make it make sense to myself. Like, sometimes that shit be causing my fucking neurons and shit to fucking, like, scrunch up. Like, girl, wow, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? Like, shit makes no fucking sense. I'm going to put the link in here one more time. If nobody wants to come up and give their 2 cents, then we can wrap this up because I do have some other commentary to produce for you guys, okay? I got to get over into the Patreon as well and do some things. I got a busy schedule, but the link is in the stream if you guys want to jump on and say anything. Happy New Year, baby father. What's going on, honey? Welcome to 2021. Is this the first video of 2021? Is Nene going to get what she wants out of 2021? I did read some of the comments underneath her video. Her fans seem to be standing behind her, and we have Savannah Doll here. Hey, Savannah.
Hi.
How are thou?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am wonderful. Happy New Year. What are your thoughts?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. I hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, well, nice to meet you. This is my first time I've seen your channel.
What? How
So
did you find me?
yeah,
Like you
I've
found me
never
just now?
this is the first time I've ever came to your channel.
What? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, welcome to the kingdom.
I think I might be back.
I hope you are back. I want you to be
I'm,
a
lo-
repeat offender.
I'm loving the hair and the look right now. I think
Thank
I might be
you.
back.
You know what? I was gonna come on here and give you guys an audio video, but literally every time I do, my the citizens of the platform always get on my ass and be like, "We need to see you. We need to see you. We need to see the look."
Oh, okay.
I said, "Let me get up here and give the looks." But I'm glad you're here, and I hope you are going to be a long-standing supporter. And I'm curious to know what you think about this whole debacle with Nene and Bravo. And I want to also say hello to Jonathan before you get started. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Conscious. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. This is my first time on here, but I'm sure you've seen me down in your comment section for a
Yes,
while now.
I
I've been following you since the whole Queen's Court debacle when you was reading eyelashes off a lamb chop.
Father God, don't remind me of those days. Jesus, I was a mess.
No, you wasn't a mess. You was speaking the truth.
Well, thank you, and welcome to the platform.
Yes.
Savannah, so what are your thoughts?
I'm still here. Listen, so about the whole Nene and Bravo thing, I guess we can all see that she was treated, unfairly. However, she kind of dug her own grave in that. But I will say that I think the whole Monique situation, and the Mariah situation is going to help her case. And I think they just gonna, all three of those things, they need to get them out of the public right now. So I think they are going to end up making some sort of deal with her because they're looking kind of bad right now in the Black community, especially because everybody's really torn up and upset about, the reunion and how they did Monique. So I think she probably will end up getting some moving forward with her lawsuit because they just need it to be over. But I do think, this is how it works in that world. Like, you're fine. We love you as the star and you could pop off and do what you want as long as you're still to help. Yeah. And Nene had, I think she's the only one, no, not the only one, because the other one was the one that wrote that skinny book or whatever, who's moved up the echelon to the next level. However, she got knocked back down. But but she was from the Housewives. She was like one of the only ones that moved up. She was doing theater and movies. I don't know if she did a movie. Maybe she did a cameo, but she was on shows. She was on Glee, and then she had another show. So she was actually moving up to that next level. And I think that's when her attitude started changing, and she started treating the other girls really bad and nasty. Like she was I'm the queen of the show. And so I think people, a lot of people got turned off by that. And like I said, if it was someone else, if it was a white person or a white man or a white woman, they would have just passed her on by. She's a bitch and let her go and get her out of here, move her on up. But because it's a Black woman, we're going to have to bring you back down. You're not going to do this. You ain't going to leave us. You ain't going to, do better and leave us still down here. We're going to have to keep you down. And I think the whole thing behind the lawsuit is she was really trying to work with them. She was really trying to do things with them behind the scenes. However, they were, they felt like they had the cards and they didn't want to negotiate with her at all. She don't want to be on the show anymore. She wants to be behind the scenes doing things. But I think the whole thing that pushed the lawsuit is because I don't know who, if it's Andy or other people, his goons, they're stopping her from working they're stopping projects that she's trying to get now. And that's what the problem is. That's why she's doing the lawsuit, because even though she's not on the show anymore, they're preventing her job. She get job offers and then all of a sudden they go away. You know, people just cancel for no reason, you know, and it's because the workings, she find out it's the workings from the Bravo people in the background. So, you know, you didn't want me to work on your show. You didn't want to negotiate with me. Then fine, let me go. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're done, but don't still trying to hinder my career because I couldn't make it with you. I can't make it with no one else. You know, and so that's what the lawsuit is about. They're trying to stop her bag in other ways.
So they're holding her hostage.
Right, exactly. Wow. They want every different projects and stuff that she's been working on in the background. They have sabotaged them and made people not want to work with her. You know, like they did Monique. Okay, so just like everybody said, Monique was the wrong messenger, or the way Monique. Sometimes we don't do things the right way, and we can't always pick our victim.
Yeah,
I mean. Hell, we could who they tried to tell us about. We couldn't. Well, why would you pick George Floyd as your person? Listen, that's the person you picked. Yeah. She the person that they picked. We didn't pick Nene to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They picked her. So now we have to use that as an example and move forward. You don't want her? Yeah. Let her move on and stop trying to hinder her from doing better because she's not with you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you want to stick around? Because I'm going to go to Jonathan and then I'm going to go to...
Definitely, I'm here.
Hey, Miss Gail 30. How you doing down there?
Hi. Okay,
first of
all, Happy New Year.
I'm happy to have you here.
I've been in your chat for a couple years now, here and there.
Yes.
And you have given me some very much needed advice and love throughout the year. So you just busted my live cherry. My whole let me get on somebody's StreamYard. You the first.
I'm trying to get better at busting these cherries around these parts. So we're gonna see what 2021 holds too, okay?
Okay. Well, first I want to say thank you. I need to thank you because you always come on here and you always provide perspective, you always enlighten, you always uplift, and you always educate.
You know what? That is meaningful feedback. I really appreciate that because that's true.
I'll be up in your stuff. I'll be up in your stuff calling you my urban Buddha. You get this, you give me this in, and you will catch it.
I plan on getting that tattooed on me, urban Buddha.
You fly. You got the looks, and you will cash a reality check on a bitch. Okay, I love it.
I love it.
Even now.
Okay,
right. I just want to say hi. I want to say hi to the chat. I've been up in there talking mess. I like to be messy, but I also like to get my facts straight. And I can always count on getting that when I come over here.
That's exactly how we do it on the Kingdom. But thank you so much. I love you so much. Thank you for the support and happy fucking New Year. Okay.
Thank you. Same to you. I'm gonna get back in this chat and be messy. Okay.
Okay. All right. I love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, Jonathan. So, what are your thoughts on this new Bravo debacle, child?
Okay, so I'm a little late. I did not know that it had escalated to the point where now she's trying to sue them. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is this. If anyone had ever seen when Kathy Griffin laid Andy Cohen the fuck out after all the shit happened with Trump, and Andy and the guy who runs TMZ basically tried to destroy her career, and she laid his ass the fuck out and was like, you just don't like me because I won't fucking sit there and do coke with you before Watch What Happens Live like you get all the other motherfucking housewives. I mean, even Lamb Chops used to say that Andy Cohen did a lot of powder, and I fucking believe it. I really do, because the way he treats people, he does seem like the type that he would get hopped the fuck up before his show. And ever since, Andy has just decided that he has become ruler and king of Bravo, and what he says goes, and he can make or break you if he don't like you. And the shit that happened with poor Monique. Now, mind you, I haven't watched Housewives in a number of years. I follow Funky Dineva's reviews on Housewives, and that's how I know what's going on Housewives. I haven't watched the Housewives since Bethany decided to leave. And might I add, like Savannah said, Bethany is basically pretty much one of the only housewives that has basically used that platform to raise herself up and above. I mean, yeah, the Beverly Hills housewives a little bit, but they already had all that money and all that stuff before they even did Housewives. Like Lisa Rinna could leave Housewives and be just fucking fine because she had all that, QVC shit going before the Housewives.
But do you guys agree that Kandi is like the Lisa Reynolds of Atlanta?
Yeah. No, yes, I agree with that. Yes, Kandi really at the end of the day, it's just like how Dineva says, like, Kandi really don't got no storyline on there because she's got everything she wants. What storyline is there left? Like, you're married, you have children, you're happy, your family, is doing well, your businesses are popping, your business, you and Tiny were already raking in all them checks from all that songwriting. You got on there just to, up your level of exposure because you were more of a behind the scenes girl after Escape, ceased to exist. Yeah. But no, Kandi definitely. I mean, it's different for someone like Kenya because Kenya needs that goddamn show. Because what else is she doing?
She's definitely.
I mean, really. I mean, what else has she done besides that episode of The Parkers before she got on Housewives? Let's be real about that one. And if somebody wants to correct me on that one, I will fully acknowledge that I'm wrong in that. But it is fucked if Bravo on the back end is trying to basically fuck up Nene's other deals that she has going or fuck up her opportunities.
So they're dead
ass wrong for that, and I would not doubt that because they did that shit to Kathy, and Kathy made that company a lot of motherfucking money, way before Andy even decided to become a figurehead on that motherfucking shit.
What? So that's a good question. Then how much? So then, how much of this do y'all think is Andy versus Bravo, the network?
I think it's probably 50-50.
It is because it goes hand in hand because Andy, unfortunately, now in the position that he is in, has a lot of say.
He has a lot of influence over what they do, the top decisions they make.
And now with the shit in regards to Mariah, Mariah, as Dineva said, she made a bad business deal. That's what she did when in terms of franchising Married to Medicine with them and the deal that she accepted. She accepted that deal knowing what it meant. And for years now has been crying about they stole my show from me. No, you signed your show over to them, man. Like you can't be mad that that's what happened. But
I think the biggest issue is that it's not the fact that the show, it's the fact of how they bottom. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line, they're African American employees. Period.
Oh, that's very true. I agree with that. I feel like it's bullshit.
Right. So I was listening to another blog and they went across and listed all the positions down from the cameraman, the executives to the producers. They're paid by race. And believe you me, yes, the black ones, I think the white ones was making like, I don't know what the period was. I know they said the black ones was making like $8,000 or whatever. I don't know if that's per month or I don't know what it is. But when they broke it down, all the black employees, not just the cast, the black employees got paid less, significantly, like 50% less. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the whole issue is because of us as a people, you feel like because we're coming from nothing that you can lowball us. Now that's the way the game played. You know what I'm saying? When you come in, we lowball you. However, that next year, when you got to resign, when your contract come up, then things should be changing. So I don't know if they didn't have the knowledge to know how to negotiate? Because it seemed like these contracts, Mariah and Nene, their contracts should have been renegotiated when they were at their highest. You know, I think Mariah and them, they had a fight on that show the first daggone season. So Nene, because of her and her personality, that show was high as heck. That was the time to play this card. Yeah. That was the time to say, I ain't coming back unless I get what I want, because everything was in her favor, you know. But when the cast turned against you, you know what I'm saying? And now the executive, she done pissed them off. I do feel like what they're doing to her is wrong, but it's not as easy for people to see because of her personality.
And that goes to what Dineva said about it. You can't sit there and spray all them people like that and then expect them to turn around and give you what you want. Yeah, I think I think there was a point where Nene was getting paid what she felt like she deserved because she reached and negotiated the contract, and she knew, I'm that bitch. This show ain't shit without me. And she probably got a good rate to come back to the show when she decided to leave. But the thing is, and what I feel like is that, like Savannah said, when Nene went out and was getting all those opportunities, and she got on Celebrity Apprentice, and she got those cameos on Glee, and she got that show, she stopped being like, I want to say in a way, she stopped being humble about it.
Yeah, she
got a little, her ego got way over fucking inflated. And she basically was walking around like, I don't need this fucking show. I got all these opportunities and all this stuff. But it's like, girl.
And I'm going to tell you, another way that she fucked herself over is when she went and pursued those opportunities, because there was even a point where I think she even wasn't on a season because she had so much going on outside of the show. What she did is she also gave the show an opportunity to see how the ratings look
without her. Yes, she did. That gave them the opportunity to see. That's what they say happened to Tamar Braxton. That's why Tamar ended up getting out.
Wow.
Because she had so much going on, and they were some little birdie pointed out to them, like, she been going for all these months, you know, for Dancing with the Stars and getting surgeries and sick and stuff. And the ratings haven't changed. And so that's what, you know, I think when she changed, but when they brought her back, I think that was the time for her to negotiate. But maybe she didn't have, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that she will get swept under with Mariah and Monique, because right now they just want to kill the bleeding. You know, I mean, when you got 2 or 3 vlogs doing 3-hour sessions on Andy Cohen.
Yikes.
Yeah. You know, my thing about Andy is Andy sells out his own people any fucking way.
He does what?
As a gay man, Andy sells out his own people.
Oh, okay.
He always, you know, with the way he did Kathy, you see he don't give a fuck about women or anything like that.
Right.
And so, you know, yes, it is very telling that the girls on Atlanta Housewives, which has been and even the Married to Medicine girls, because of what they have done with that show, get paid so much less than a Beverly Hills housewife, a OC housewife. But in the case of OC, you can see, like, just because you are the mainstay on that show does not mean shit. You see how they did Vicky and Tamra. Yeah. Vicky basically created the Housewives franchise, and they had no problem kicking her ass to the curb and saying bye.
Let me ask you.
We're not going to pay you what we've been paying you. If you want to come back, you're going to take this little measly check. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah. And the thing is, it is fucked up what they did to Monique, because it does, in all senses of the word, look like a motherfucking setup. But on Nene's side of it, Nene has destroyed all her relationships with all the cast members. So if the cast is, and that's basically what Mariah did too. If the cast doesn't want to film with you, how do you expect to be on the show? And how do you expect to justify to the network what you should be paid when the cast don't even fuck with you? So there has to be a balance somewhere.
So let me ask y'all So let me ask y'all this question. Do y'all feel that even though these 2 women have made themselves unlikable unto their fellow co-stars, that the fellow co-stars should be still stepping out on code? Like, should they still be coming out and affirming these claims?
Oh, of course, because this is the time to do it. Like, you got to strike while the iron is hot. And, you know, for those cast members to stand by and not get involved is very disappointing, actually, you know, that no one else is saying anything.
I will say maybe not in terms of, yes, I feel like some of the castmates, if they know that this blatant racism shit is going on down there, should say something about it. But at the end of the day, some of them, especially some of the Married to Medicine girls, rely on that money to support and maintain their lifestyles. I mean, Heavenly's about the only one who's very upfront that, like, if she was not on that show, she not necessarily hurting. And that's why Monique chose to leave, because Monique said, I'm not hurting for this money. This money ain't shit to me. I've got all this other stuff before I came on here. So if I don't feel like I'm being respected or it's worth my mental health to be on the show, then I don't need to be on that show. And that's why she made the right decision to leave, especially after all this bullshit.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think that it's a point of people not wanting to film with her, because of course Portia was going to film with her. Marlo would film with her. I don't think there was anything too significant between her and Tanya that they couldn't overcome. I know they had some strife or whatever, but it wasn't nothing too significant that they couldn't overcome. And she just don't have a relationship with Candy like that. So the only person that was kind of spearheading everything was Kenya. And it's like everybody was following her. The other thing is that the production, I feel like the production has gotten lazy. It's not about nobody wanting to film with her. Instead of everybody having storylines, the whole thing across the board with the franchises is, okay, we're gonna pick on one person. That's the whole storyline. Yeah. You know, one person is on the outs.
I mean, you see how they chose to make Monique's fight, like basically the whole storyline, the whole season, for Potomac, and like nobody else had any kind of storyline. I mean, really, nobody else had any kind of storyline the whole season, and why this had to drag the fuck out. I agree with that, but what I will say is that I don't think, in terms of Nene, I think the other girls would have filmed with her, but at the same time, though, too, I feel like they all are pretty fed up with her in one way or another, and that includes Cynthia. Like, they're all kind of over it. And might I add also, you know, it's pretty fucked up that Marlo has been on that show. And they don't
hire somebody else and
they won't give her an official peach. Like, Marlo at this point is the only person that we don't know their motherfucking life.
But I think that's by design, though. I think that's that's clearly by design. Look, we all have heard the rumors in the street business of Marlo. Marlo don't want people looking to her like that, baby.
But Marlo could come up with a storyline if she wanted to.
Of course, Marlo's literally, aside from Drew and her marriage problems,
but they won't give her. But they just won't give her a peach, though, for whatever reason. It's not that she don't want it. I think she'd want it, but they won't give it to her.
I think there's some behind the scenes issue with Marlo, because Marlo was given. Candy had produced Marlo for her own show. Candy produced a show for Marlo. We never saw it. I heard that she wasn't showing up on time. She was giving them hell, so it never went forward.
Yeah, Dineva did kind of say, like, the reason why that show didn't get put out is because Marlo was fucking up the thing, because he was on that show with her, and he said that she was not professional, as far as I can remember. He said it in a couple of his videos, like, Marlo they were filming some kind of reality show, and Marlo basically fucked it up for everybody, and that's why it never got put out. So so it's probably that too, but I think Nene also might have soured her relationship with some of the producers when her and Marlo had gotten into it, because Nene was had a lot of say at that point. And you saw how she did try to X Marlo out, like when their relationship kind of fell apart. She was like, I don't want this bitch on my show no more.
She always do that,
Yeah, but, and see, unfortunately, bad behavior, karma comes back, because she did Marlo real wrong. She did she tried to do Kenya, but Kenya got enough ammunition to fight back. But she did that season when Kenya came on and Nene was upset. I think she was upset because Marlo was filming with Kenya. She didn't want her friends. She only want her friends to film with her. And so Nene went at a lot of people, and then that's when people ain't gonna stand up with you against Bravo, because you kind of alienated.
Made a great point about Marlo. Like, remember a few seasons back when Marlo used the F word on Bravo? I think toward Derek J or Lawrence or somebody.
Oh Lord!
People.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she did. Oh,
yeah,
really?
she did.
I mean,
wow.
She dropped the hard F word. It was like, skirt.
That could be it, because they don't necessarily like you to be problematic. But I feel like if it was really that deep, she'd have never been back on the show.
She didn't want to been back on the show at all. Yeah.
T here though. But why is Candace still on Potomac? Because Candace has been dropping some really crazy words to bloggers and has a history of being problematic, especially comes with the LGBTQ community. And this broad gives these boilerplate apologies. But when she get mad, she still drop those words. So girl, that's in your heart. You don't really mean that. You just saying something to save your job right now. Because like my issue is this. Nene does have some stance, there's some substance to her protest. But here's the thing, sis, and why it's hard for us to look at you and take this seriously. You were for so long Bravo's little do girl, right? You sat here and took down a lot of people because it made you a lot of coin. You enjoyed that check, and you let that build your ego up, baby. Pride goes before a great fall, and honey, you fail. And guess what? I want to support you because do I believe Bravo has a bias and a issue with how it translates to Black people? Heck yes, because any Black person who saw Potomac this year would understand why Monique did what she did. Is she right for doing it? No. But what Black woman is going to put her hands in the face of another Black woman? That is a no on so many levels.
Yeah,
exactly.
Got popped for it.
Got popped for it, and but they keep protecting Giselle because Giselle's the one who started that fight. She over here put the battery in Monique's back to go after Candace, and vice versa. Played them like marionettes, and yet here we see again Giselle being protected.
Right, because she has a look. She has a look. I think they're counting on her. They were counting on her being the star of the show. I don't know what they're gonna do now that Monique is gone, because the fans are gonna be upset because they want to see how they resolve this and overcome it. Like, what's gonna be the result? And now we ain't gonna get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she left because
somebody else on there to pop Candace. They're gonna have to. Let me ask y'all this question before we wrap up. I want to ask y'all ladies this question because you guys, I don't know if you guys are aware, but this season of Atlanta Housewives, their ratings have plummeted dramatically. Yes. Like they're at an all-time low. I want to get y'all theory on why do y'all think the show has been declining in viewership over the last few seasons? Like, is it time for these ladies to wrap it up? Is it that we're just tired of their asses? We've seen enough. We've been with them enough. There's really nothing else interesting that's happening, or is there other dynamics at play?
I think the viewers are just getting tired of the fake storylines and the fake drama.
It's manufactured drama.
It's manufactured drama, and with the Atlanta Housewives, it really sucks because you can really tell like there's no investment in it, but they still, it's like, you put people in the room and you say something and then they just start arguing. We're gonna sit there and film everything. But I just think people are not feeling the storylines because we do like the drama, but we got hooked because of the drama. However, these women are older women. So at this point, we should be seeing them flourish in their success. Okay? So we're not seeing that, We're seeing them doing the same thing, except for Candy, opening up the restaurants and stuff like that. But we're seeing them do the same things, So it's just like they should be flourishing in their success right now, showing us how lavish and how lavish. That's what the whole Housewives for us, to show us how rich housewives live.
But that brings me to another question, Savannah. Let me ask y'all this, because a lot of times the audience will complain that this is too much drama. This is a terrible representation for Black women. We don't like all this ratchetness and fighting. But then on the other end, when these shows are void of a lot of that controversy, people then complain that these shows are boring. So what exactly do we want to fucking see? What? Because we will say we want to see everybody doing well, but honestly,
you need a little bit of drama because it's not going to
sell. But you can have drama coming from having good discourse and discussion. The storylines are too overproduced. We're in the middle of a pandemic and we've had such a year of racial injustice, and we only got one episode of everything Portia went through. Like Portia going through that and, you know, giving her perspective and how this affected the ladies. This should have been 6 episodes. I would have been riveted watching that, because it's a dialogue that's needed in this country right now. That you have a golden opportunity story and y'all giving us this manufactured drama. Baby, we want the real tea. Well, we want the real stories.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, if anybody has ever watched New York, when Bethany started doing all that aid for, you know, Puerto Rico and all the other national disasters and stuff like that, they gave her 2 and 3 episodes of her going and collecting all that stuff. Now, mind you, it got the drama factor into it because Dorinda's ass got completely fucking drunk with her on the fucking mission and did the damn fool. So there was your, you know, drama. Oh, they're out there doing charitable stuff, but Dorinda gonna get drunk and cause a whole bunch of mess like she always fucking does. So there was your organic drama that fueled into that. Now back in the beginning with Housewives, when there was organic actual drama happening, like people was popping off and Kenya was getting into it with people and things of that nature. Yeah, it was good. And unfortunately, I'm a quote Dineva again. I'm in agreement. Like most of these ladies have been on this show for so long. They're now of a more mature age. And it's like we're tired of seeing this stuff. And it's like there's no, especially and unlike Candy, like Candy is flourishing and all that stuff, but it's like where else is her story going to go? Her story has nowhere else to go. Her child, who was a child when this show started, is now a whole ass adult and going off to college. Like it's come to its natural conclusion with her storyline. Portia's the only one who's still young enough and has still somewhere to go to because, you know, now she's a mother and now she's trying to balance the motherhood and her relationship and stuff. And Kenya, yes, too, to a certain extent, if she don't sit here and try to manufacture some more fake relationships. But I mean, because that was what was keeping the show going, was her whole drama with her whole relationship and her stalker and all this other stuff. But I do feel like the ratings are plummeting because it's just like they're again, lazy production, no storylines, manufactured drama to try and actually create a storyline. And we just tired of them to an extent. It's like we've seen you enough. It's like it's the same stuff warmed over, same thing, different day. We're just tired and we're over it. And that's why the reason why Potomac is still kind of working at itself right now is because at least the women are smart enough to know that they got to create themselves a storyline. They got to have something new, something whatever. And I mean, it's true. Like Giselle, we all know that from what I hear, rumors like her whole getting back together with her husband and stuff like that. It's basically for the show. It's giving her a plot. It was basically a plot line. Now, whatever's going on aside from that, and you know, he had a lot of stuff to say about who came. Monique came with the folder of receipts, correct? Or was that
came with a binder?
Yeah, okay, yeah. He had a lot of stuff to say about Monique and that whole binder that she came with all the tea because she was like, what you are not going to do is sit here and paint me as this. And I know all of the shit that you got hiding in your closet. But we all knew that Giselle's ex-husband was no goddamn good. For Christ's sake, his children don't even want to be around him. And you can see it on their face on the show.
I'll do you one better. The fact that when he got on that live, he all but exposed Giselle by saying, one, you can't cheat when you're single. Right. He sat up there and said that you gonna see Chris Samuels manhandle the women in episode 2. You never seen Chris Samuels manhandle any of those women or speak out of turn. And number 3, he sat up here and claimed that Monique is being abused by Chris. There's never been any allegations of abuse or anything seen from Chris Samuels doing that to anyone. This man's had a sterling reputation. He had the nerve to sit up here and say that this man had CTE when CTE can only be diagnosed post-mortem. Exactly. You have to pull the man's brain out. And even before then, you'd have to have a number of concussions, lose deficit, and basically kind of be like a Parkinson's patient, which Chris would never have had any of that because he was a freaking linebacker. Right. He was given the CTE. He wouldn't have it.
To me, Jamal was just upset because he never wanted to be a storyline on that show. And Giselle obviously talked him into being somewhat of a storyline with him not being having to actually physically be on camera. Yeah. But because of the fact that Giselle always has to be the one to start all the mess, because that is the role that she took upon herself on this show, is I'm going to be the messy one that's going to go over here and starting shit between people and bringing bones back and forth. She basically is what Sheree used to be on Housewives of Atlanta. That was basically, that's the archetype that she took on for herself for this particular show, is what Sheree used to do and what she tried to do when she came back. And then basically we got tired, and that's why she's not on that show no more either.
You know what's so funny? I've said this before. Like, I'm a fan of a lot of the older reality TV shows like Flavor of Love, Real Chance, right. I Love New York, Surreal Life. And one of the stark differences that I noticed between kind of like the earlier reality shows like The Real World, etc., all of that, compared to this, is that there was once upon a time where TV used to actually put interesting people on TV. One of the things I think is the issue is that we're putting pretty people and good-looking people on TV, but who aren't in fact fucking interesting. So
they have no substance.
For the drama, now you have to create controversy because these people don't have enough personality and don't have enough uniqueness to manifest that just by being themselves.
Right? And they don't want to give shows to people that have actual substance or have interesting actual fucking lives for whatever reason. It's just like, okay, but we all know that T.S. Madison's about to have a reality show coming out. She's finally said it. It's going to come out on We, and I am interested. And it's just like how excited I was to see that Drag Race finally gave her moment to let her come on and be a judge, which she has deserved for a lot of years now, with all the Drag Race girls use it. RuPaul basically catchphrasing her lingo and using it every goddamn season for the last 5 seasons, and several of the girls paying homage to her in name and in character, like Silky did. And they never once had, and it's not that Logo and World of Wonder have never not fucked with her, because they've given her things before, but they've never put her on VH1 has never put her on the camera and let her come on there and be a guest judge like she so rightfully deserves.
But sweetie, you have to also think about the fact is, like, I love Madison to death. I love her opinions. I love her good and her bad. But she got a past that may not have been palatable to all mainstream. And that's the
truth. And she says that's the truth. A lot of the higher executives, they absolutely love her, but for whatever reason, they can't push her through yet. And that's probably a lot of the reason why they end up with these issues in casting. It's either the past. I mean, when it came to The Real World and stuff like that, I don't think they used to do much,
I mean, they didn't have the capabilities. Like,
I don't think they used to do that much background on people. I think it was whoever they found to be interesting or whatever, which is what made those shows so good. And why we used to get those great moments and heartfelt storylines. I remember the first time. I remember when it was the second New York season, when it was the Back to New York season, and Coral had to basically sit there and educate Mike on racism because she's like, what I'm not going to do is sit here and play cute with a racist. And I really think she changed his life after that. I think her making him understand why that shit's not okay and why that shit has to stop made him a much better person for that.
Man, the Real World had so many great social moments, even the conversations around HIV, because one of the castmates ended up dying. There were so many things that played out over that franchise that was like awesome. And that's what's really
the flap hurled around the world. Yeah. We all remember that.
Also, Tammy Roman got famous because of that.
Right. Tammy. See, and that's the thing too. Like, people try to play Tammy. Like, Tammy been doing this shit.
She been in
for
the game
the longest. Like, Tammy used that, you know, Tammy, I'm pretty sure that's how she met her. I'm pretty sure her being on that show is how she met her husband.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it took me so long because you know, that particular season, because she was on season 1, right? Wasn't it season 1? Or like, it was like season 1 or season 2. It was one of the very first seasons. And it took me so long to actually correlate the fact that, oh, she was, because I was so young. Yeah. You know, when those first seasons were coming out. And then I was like, so Tammy knows how this game goes. And that's why, you know, she knows that you have to keep a certain level of humbleness about yourself and not get too.
But I could do you one better. Going back to Atlanta. How can we make these women more interesting? You talk about your real stuff. Like, exactly. I would love for Candy to sit here and finally address all these issues, the true issues her mother has with the men in her life. Because her mom, girl, your mama has blocked your blessings a couple times. Todd is willing to stick it out, but Todd is a very rare one. You got,
well,
you go to
that's
Kenya.
true.
Kenya got,
but that's a job. I think that's a job for Ayala, though. I think the only person that could actually get Candy and her mother to actually get through their shit is Ayala, and she retired. She said she's done. She can't do it no more. But it's too much. That bad energy was too much. This last season, Kamaya and all them people, they took what little she had left and she's done, which is sad because a lot of people are saying that they wanted her to do more of healing in the African American community and Black families and all that stuff, because these were some of the most riveting. This last season had some of the most riveting episodes because of the subject matter and because of what it was dealing with. But you know,
absolutely,
she's tired.
But you know so funny too? I also wonder if a lot of these people don't want to really put their real lives out there, because something also that existed now that didn't exist then was social media itself. So you could kind of you could put your shit out there. Didn't have to really worry about a lot of the social opinion and involvement and commentary around whatever you put out there. Unlike now, where you put your real shit out there and you wake up tomorrow and your shit is on every motherfucking YouTube, Instagram platform. It's across the media, and
well, case in point,
and it gets out of control, and people get humiliated.
Case in point, Erica Jane was one of the best additions that they ever made to the Beverly Hills cast, and you see what's happening with her now. She is getting dragged from one end of social media to the other by all them, you know,
all that
platinum blonde tracks she has in her head over all this shit with her. And I will say this too. The other thing is a lot of the times people don't understand, like, your life has to really be in a good place before you go on a show like this, because I have this thing that I call the curse of the housewives, where if your marriage is not really on a solid foundation, or you have issues in your marriage, you will end up, if you stay on these shows long enough, you will end up getting divorced. Because Erica getting divorced was a real shocker to me. I never saw that one coming.
A prime example of that is Kenya. Kenya did not want her marriage played out on the show, and producers forced her and made her pretty much. They gave her an ultimatum. You either gonna have to bring Mark to the table, or
you're not getting this check.
And now look at where her and Mark are.
Yep.
But do we really think that the show is what really fucked over her and Mark's marriage? I don't think her and Mark's marriage was on a solid. It's just like Portia's marriage when she came on that show obviously was never on a solid foundation to begin with. And there have even been a couple times where different people have gone on that show and only been on there a season or two.
Mm-hmm.
And like by the reunion of the first season, they're getting a divorce. So it's almost like some people go on that show. Yeah. Like some people like go on that show, I feel like, because they want to get a divorce and they know that it will force their husbands that don't want to necessarily go there or give them the divorce to give them the divorce. Like we've seen that. We've seen that happen.
Kelsey Grammer and Camille Grammer.
Like, the one woman who was on the show for like a season on New York that had the big thing with Bethany, and Bethany said, well, I heard the reason why you came on this show was because you wanted to get a divorce. And it was like, so I mean, and it's sad because it's happened, and it's even more sad when it happens to the women who have been married on that who came in with a pretty good marriage and they've been married and they've been on the show 5 or 6 seasons. And then the thing, because it was real sad when Greg and Nene broke up.
But that kind of that goes back to your initial question of, do we really think that the show contributes to the downfall? And yes, if whatever the dynamics are and the publicity is that is so powerful that is disrupting even like pre-existing relationships that have already existed for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and imagine whatever those dynamics are doing to fairly new marriages and fairly new relationships. I honestly am one of those people. I believe a lot of times why marriages fail on reality TV is because it's unnatural to have that many people involved in something so intimate and private. Relationships by themselves without the opinion of the community are already difficult to sustain, yet alone now adding the world practically in your family's business, in your personal matters. I think that those are very unnatural circumstances to have a relationship, a marriage through, and it's of no surprise to me that they fail epically. That lots of marriages fail epically under reality TV.
I mean, I also think about it in terms of the power aspect of a relationship, because a lot of these housewives come into the shows being the missus. That is their role. The best example of that is Karen Huger. Karen Huger was always a housewife. She was known as Mrs. Ray Huger. And for him, and he showed that this season, the show has changed their relationship because he doesn't know who Karen is now, because Karen now has more power in their relationship. She's not completely dependent on him. That's the same thing for Nene. Nene was completely dependent on Greg. And the show gave her independence. But at the same time, the show that's giving this woman independence is also giving her the ability to provide for the family and to provide for you should you be in trouble. If Nene wasn't on this show, do you think they could have been able to afford all the cancer bills that Greg has? Because cancer is expensive.
They couldn't afford that new house that she got. Like that $1.2 million house that she invited Kim to, they wouldn't have been able to have on Greg's salary alone. So
and same thing with Karen Huger. If Karen was not on Real Housewives of Potomac, she would never been able to save Ray from the tax issues that he got the family into, as Funky said.
Well, and that's why Karen and Ray's relationship has changed, because Karen said, because I'm sure Karen probably had the conversation with like, look, check this out. You fucked us over. And it's only because I got this check from Bravo that has saved our basically us our from buddies. Financial absolute fucking ruin. Because, and that's probably why that is a thing that's playing out in their relationship right now, because the power dynamic has changed, and hopefully they'll be able to work through that and come to a better understanding with each other, because Karen is definitely a mainstay on that show because she knows how to play things just right.
Shout out to plastic surgeon, honey, because he got it right too. She looking good, honey.
Baby, I want to look
Karen,
that good that old. I want to look that good that old and have that marriage because baby, Karen
has the moniker of Grand Dame for a reason, and she proved that to us every single season. While they might try to, shade her about that whole Grand Dame moniker, like she has proven time and time and again that she is the Grand Dame.
Because aside from her and Ray's storyline, what else and the fight, what else was on the show?
Nothing. I mean, even Robin, as Dineva likes to say, Robin wasn't even doing all this season. She wasn't even giving us all this season.
Somebody asked a good question in the comment section. How old is too old to be on these damn shows? Do y'all feel like there should be a particular age limit or
God, no,
not
the more tea you got.
No, not necessarily. I mean, but when you do, because I'm trying to think, because I would say probably in terms of age on the Housewives, like Karen and Nene are probably at the higher end at this point, not counting some of the older white women that are on some of the longer, like Vicky probably was one of the oldest ones for a long time, although she's no longer on the franchise. And like, because I mean, that's like, we're talking 50 plus there. We're talking about, going into your later years. I don't think anybody's like, is anybody on this franchise like 60 and up? I don't think so. That's an actual mainstay character.
No, Karen's gonna hit that in like 3 or 4 years, but
that's what I'm saying. But and so, is there an age limit? Maybe to be a mainstay character, like a main cast character. I feel like there kind of needs to be it, because at the end of the day, who wants to be 65 being on a reality TV show aside from Mama Braxton?
But let's look at it like this though.
Mama Braxton.
Compared to let's say our parents' generation. Our people who are in our age group, we're not getting established at the same ages that our parents did. My mom in her 20s was buying a house, had a full job. Girl, I was in my 20s still in college, still living in an apartment. For us, owning houses and doing those major lifestyles are happening at a later date. So I think the number of people, the age should change with the generation. I think the older you are, from that transition period from like the 90s and 2000s, I think, in your 50s, I think you still got something to offer to reality TV, because maybe you're just now settling into, being a full adult like that.
That's true. But again, that you also have to take into factor the age bracket that is actually watching these shows. Because to be honest with you, I'm 33 right now, and I've been watching Housewives since I was like in my early 20s. I think Housewives franchise has been around like 13 years or something like that. Yeah. Maybe 14. So I was like in my early 20s when this came out. And I remember I was so hooked on them for so long. But as I've gotten older, and especially in the last 5 years or so, like I said to Conscious earlier, basically the only 2 seasons I was actually even watching semi-consistently were Beverly Hills and was New York. But as soon as Bethany left New York, I was kind of over it, because it's only so much drunken shenanigans I can see of Dorinda and Sonia and Luann for me, because it was just tired and it was through. And that's why they're having major cast changes over there as well, because some of the women have gotten a little beside themselves and they tired of them too. And, OC, it just cut, or no, Beverly Hills, it just got kind of contrived, the whole thing with Lisa Vanderpump and how she did everybody. And I just was like, okay, I can't anymore, because it's not even fun anymore. Yeah. It's not even fun to watch them like go on these crazy trips to do. And that's another thing too. It is kind of, if you look and comparatively, it is kind of fucked up that it's like Beverly Hills Housewives are over here going to Dubai and all across the globe and stuff like that. And, the farthest that Atlanta probably went on a trip was like what, like Barbados or something like
No,
that?
they went to
To
Greece.
Africa.
Yeah, they did Africa with
so
Phaedra.
but that was like a big thing, though. That was well into the establishment of the show. Because I feel like a lot of the other housewives were going on crazy ass trips like that, like Off Jump season 1. You know, like I'm pretty sure, like in the first 2 seasons of New York, they went to that. It was like somewhere in the Mediterranean. They were somewhere in the Mediterranean or whatever, and Bethany was having that breakdown. But you know what I'm saying? You know, it's like they don't always, because that's the thing. Like,
it's not like
that's a budget thing. That's a budget thing. They don't give them those budgets.
For it. And while they're kind of giving it to the white cast, like they've made like Atlanta earn their African trip, but the white franchise kind of came in on the high end, like they.
But the question is that the budget the show's providing, or is also the women are able to supplement that because they do live in Beverly Hills, and let's say flying from LA is pretty cheap to get to certain places. Like Honolulu is cheap from LA. Certain parts of the world are cheaper because it's a larger port. So maybe they must be supplementing that too.
That's
it may
true.
not just be racist.
I would be interested to know, in terms of those housewives trips, how much the housewives actually have to pay in to the trip. You know what I'm saying? I would be interested to know how much they pay into the trip versus what Bravo actually pays for in terms of the trip. Like, what's the percentage? Like, are they paying 30% of the trip and Bravo's paying 70% of the trip, or are they paying 50-50, or are they paying 80-20? That's what I would like to know, because that would actually also be very telling too. Because I know in certain trips, the housewives will have connections, or they'll have been places, and they'll do that. Like when they went to Dubai and stuff like that, like they had connections to go to those specific places and things of that nature. But I don't know. It just, you know.
Pause on that real quick. Miss Jonathan, we have a visitor called Yes Child 777. I'm everything that your mother will never be, Yes Child. Okay, which is great. Okay, so I'm gonna need you to find some. You're looking at a man in a blonde unit. With
a nice unit at that too.
A slave unit.
Looking like you got it from the Bell Collective.
On a established platform, while you are an avatar in the comment section. I want you to make it make sense to me.
Exactly. Sir, why are you here? The exit is to the left. Please use it. Left. You know, I mean, Conscious, you sitting up here with better units than some of the housewives we have sometimes. So, you know.
Girl, you better speak that. We see some horrible hair.
You know, you got better. Your unit right now is much better than, you know, when Nene's hair was all ate out in the back when she was
Baby, it was better than whatever Ashley had on her head during the contestants last season.
He's going through enough already.
Ashley, you know.
He's going through enough.
Ashley got all this drama. Ashley got all these issues, you know, with her husband groping all the cameramen, and his bromance with what's her face with Karen, with Robin's husband, with Juan, his unrequited love for Juan and all this stuff. And poor Ashley, Ashley, the least you could do is put a decent piece of hair on your head.
Girl, how do we know it's unrequited though? Because like I'm be real with you. One is real buddy with Michael. Like they might be friends. They may be friends.
He is, but do I think like Juan is letting Michael grab that ass? I don't think he is.
No, but I think they're friends and doing dirt together.
Maybe Juan. Maybe they're just covering for each other.
They're from the streets.
Juan has his. Michael's covering for Juan when he's off tricking with his side pieces, and Juan is, covering for Michael when Michael is down to the bathhouse. Allegedly.
Because I want to get perspective on Michael. I think Michael is just I think Michael is just a white boy.
He is privilege personified.
He is, but if he's not bisexual, he is definitely a closeted white man because he's done way too many things to make people suspect on it.
I've noticed a lot of differences between like black male culture and white male, like white male European culture or European male culture. Like white men seem to be a lot more comfortable in their own skin, for one, and white men seem to just be a lot more fluid in their being. And I think that inserting that type of personality in a predominant black show, where in our community as black people, our men are not so touchy-feely and not so fluid, which I don't always think equates to a issue of orientation or sexuality. Like I went to school with these type of white boys, and they were like white men. I've always seen white men be chummy in this way. I've always seen white boys be very just like just wild and excited, and like very extroverted.
It's the whole. I don't know. It's the whole accusation when he was grabbing on the cameraman and the PA's asses. And that's for me, because I mean, as stuff aside from that, yes, as someone who is half white and stuff like, yes, we, depending on how we're raised, yes, we're more touchy-feely, we're more, that kind of stuff. But like, there is a certain line to it, and you don't necessarily do that to people that you don't know like that.
Preach.
Yeah. Due to our very, close with each other, yeah, they might slap each other on the ass, whatever you want to say, but no random person is going to go up to another random person and just grab them by the ass like that. And that's not some drunk or not. Okay. Because we have to remember he was always drunk when these things are happening to him, and he ends up, doing the most. But
you know what people say, when you drunk, you your real self.
Exactly. I mean, Ashley at this point, like, it's all, but Ashley is just securing her, her bag and her, what's the word? Her settlement. She's just securing her settlement for the inevitable moment when she, when she's ready to exit stage left. Ashley's got probably a few more Ashley needs to be on the show a few more seasons before she can, stockpile away enough funds in order not to need Michael.
Girl,
because Michael's made it very clear he's still paying all the motherfucking bills and her mama's bills for that matter, and you will not come up into my house and speak to me in this manner.
So Miss Ashley is running a whole business over there in her marriage, honey. She like, girl, like, y'all think I care about this man cheating? This is a business. Like, I'm securing the bag. This man.
She just don't want to be made to look an entire goddamn. That's her thing. Yep. She's like, just don't embarrass me this much.
Right, because at least every time he has his antics, she sit there on the reunion, try to defend her. She at least answers to what people call her to.
Yeah,
she stands in it. I can at least appreciate that, because Lord knows she used to be the messiest person on Potomac, but Michael's actions humbled the Lord out of her.
Well, I think, and Ashley, I think she just came to the realization, she's like, look, I can't take on this role of being the messy one when my husband's out here doing all this foolishness in the background, and it's just gonna come back and make me look stupid. So I'm gonna just maybe take a step back and try and figure out what my new role can be on this show.
Yeah, because the producers aren't protecting her. They protect Giselle, but they do not protect Ashley.
Which is odd.
But I also be like wondering why the audience apply so much pressure to these stars. It's like people be acting like don't act like you ain't never forgave a cheating ass motherfucker. Don't act like you ain't never forgave a trifling motherfucker. Don't act like you ain't took like your blows in a relationship. But when we see these people go through one thing, we be like, great to leave. It's like ain't none of us just left like that. Ain't none of us just saw the first thing. Like, I'm out.
Conscious.
It don't even go down like that. Like, let these people live. Like, if she want to forgive her man, like she got her limit.
We all know. We all know. We all know the first people that are gonna sit there telling Giselle, leave Jamal's cheating ass, all this stuff, is the same people that is sitting there stuck with their baby daddies that they've been in relationships with since high school, who've been cheating on them left, right, and center, have 4 other kids that is within a year and 6 months of their kids' ages, and they still with them. And they still mess with them.
But girl, who actually believes Giselle's with Jamal?
No, I know. I mean, we all know that. I mean, Jamal basically said like that whole thing is for a storyline. He all but said that. And we all knew that that's what it is. I mean, when your children are sitting there basically rolling their eyes at you anytime that you bring up their father to them.
That's a no-go.
That's some
like they you know that there's got to be some fake phony bullshit to that, because they're just like, I ain't got time for this. I don't even want to be here right now. I'm only doing this because you made me do this.
Well,
that's her daughter.
Her girls act like they would rather be anywhere else but on that camera.
Girl,
I think the damage control for them both. I think that Giselle needed something else to give her a reason to be filmed, and I think that Jamal, the positive publicity of trying to be a better father and work things out with his ex-wife in order for there to be like a certain affection towards him, because Jamal has a hell of a controversy behind him.
He does.
Yeah, but you know what inspired people to be more affectionate to you, Jamal? Taking care of your kids.
Right?
Exactly. I you know what? There's a lot of pastors that have what you would call outside babies, but hey, at least they own them. They acknowledge them. And they take care of them. Boy, we only see the 3 kids you got with Giselle. You got at least 2 other ones. Yeah. Where are they?
But does that make Giselle look even more wicked that she would put that she put her children in a position to have their father fake an involvement that's not sincere and genuine for him? Like, what does that say about Giselle that she would even use?
I don't know.
I mean, show that she would do anything to stay on this show. That's like, why would you fake a relationship? And at first, like many people thought it was real, because if you watch like the Dave Chappelle shows, I think Sticks and Stones, you see both of them front yards. I'm like, okay, maybe she did choose to go back with him. But then if you are back with him, why aren't you happy in your relationship and not messing with the other women? Why are you constantly attacking Karen and Monique?
Right. I've got a question too. Do we think any of them people over at that church even respect Giselle as a first lady?
Of course
not. In that capacity.
No, she was never a first lady of New Birth.
I know. But I'm saying if her and Jamal are really trying to quote unquote work it out, do we even think that any of those people over at that church would even respect her?
Girl, well, you know what, Giselle
probably don't even really respect Jamal, but the fact that he is just the head of the church, they just have to go with it. Like, you know religion is a hell of a thing, and people will follow.
I was going to say hell no, but then again, when I think about church people protect their leaders. So they probably do, like, they make a lot of excuses for the shit that leadership does. So I can see New Birth members like finding some way to rationalize all of the ratchet, non-Christ-like attributes that Giselle possesses and expresses on this damn show, and still hold her on some damn pedestal like she is Mother Mary and will bow to her feet. But
at the same time, talking the most shit about her behind them hand fans that they all pass out
and be like,
each other. Exactly.
Yep.
You know, but that's my thing too. I don't think that they'll I think she's gonna tease this whole like them trying to make up with each other out for as long as she can, because honestly,
he's not doing the show anymore. So what are you faking now? What is it? Well, you're gonna have him in the phone. You're gonna have him on text messages. We're gonna look at text messages.
But that's the thing, like that's the thing too, because it's like if y'all really was trying to work it out, I don't think you would be able to be on this show.
Yeah.
If y'all really did work it out and got back together and actually got married again, I don't think you would be able to be on this show as coming in as the first lady of the church. I don't think that would work.
Yep. And she would need to apologize for calling him a cheater, pumpkin eater, season 1 and 2. Because you made your whole story for the show about being cheated on and being the ex-first wife of the church. That was your whole identity. And then you became the messy chick trying to go after Monique because she basically ruined your relationship with Charmin.
Yeah. I mean, because apparently there's like one woman on the new Housewives series on the Salt Lake one, and she is supposed to be a woman of God, and I don't think that's working out too good for her.
Child, I actually watched that.
She is everything but godly, according to Dineva, and according to the look on your face, Lauren. Like, she attributes everything but a person of God in her actions towards the other women, and it makes absolutely no sense.
Exactly.
You are not going to be able to say a sounded Christian on
reality TV. It does not work.
Baby, Jesus would never tell me to go sleep with a man who done ran through my grandma. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That is not of the Lord.
Well, you know what?
Not the Lord I serve.
That's them goddamn Mormons for you. That's all I'm
She ain't Mormon.
Oh wait, that's the one that left the Mormon church.
No, this is Mary the Black one.
I don't watch these other ones. Now I gotta go like binge.
Man, you got to. Like, Salt Lake, get it popping for the first 2 episodes. It's worth it.
Okay.
No, I mean, honestly, I feel like Salt Lake is going to work at least into another season because there was enough. It's fresh. It's new. The drama is not inorganic. The drama is stupid, but it's coming in an organic manner. These are just issues that the women are just having with each other that are amplified by the cameras. And the storyline, and they all do have some relatively crazy ass motherfucking storylines.
Because like my 2 favorite on there, I like Heather, and she's the ex-Mormon who's out here just trying to live her best life. I wasn't allowed to do all this in church. Now I'm a wild out. I'm of the streets now.
It's what that reminds me of? It reminds me of every single cast member on The Real World who came in that was the super religious, like Jesus loving type, and how that show and how by the end of this season they've been completely corrupted. They got completely turned out and corrupted by the rest of the castmates, because the rest of the castmates sitting here looking at you like, this, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do none. Oh no, we're not gonna have this. Like, no, we gonna sit here and we gonna get you laid, high and drunk, and all in between.
We gonna turn this mother out.
Who let the dogs out, baby?
It reminds me of that one dude. It reminds me of the one dude on the Vegas season. I think that was still a virgin. They was like, "Oh,
Vegas was so good."
World. I live for Vegas season.
And a lot of the Vegas people, and some of those Vegas people are still doing reality television,
and they're still crazy.
Hey,
and still crazy. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit. A lot. It's funny to me that they still do challenges on MTV, because I'm like, y'all have not had a new season of these shows in a decade.
Damn season, like.
And I don't even recognize these people that you got. I can't even watch it because I'm like, I don't even know who these people are.
People are right. Like they don't like. Because they done start like blending other people from the MTV franchise into the challenges too, like the other shows, like Single and Exes or Exes in the Beach or whatever that shit is. Like
Sex on the Beach, X on the Beach. Like, God, see, that's my point. I can't watch reality TV anymore. I've come to the point where I'm too old for it, and I used to be a binge watcher of things like Housewives, Bad Girls Club.
Mm-hmm.
Real World, Road Rules, all that stuff. Bad Girls Club really was such an off-brand show for the network that it was on. Mm-hmm. It really made absolutely no sense how a network that was supposed to be about women empowerment created that show that gave us some of the most craziest fucking shit and most iconic people of its time. I mean, hell, because I love Tanisha. Tanisha's probably the only ex bad girl that really took that and built from it and became, she hosts things, she's got a good, strong presence.
Her and Natalie.
But you know what though? Natalie is so goddamn tired for me. She really is, because, she really, like, her whole attitude the minute she walked in that house, like, I run LA, like, she still thinks that to this day. And it's like, boo, like, ooh, you're delusional. You are just fucking delusional, Natalie.
Like, that's the opening. I run LA. That is her claim to fame.
Because what other show did she try to get on? What other reality show did she try to get
on? Marriage Boot Camp.
She was on Marriage Boot Camp. So I thought she tried to like transition over to she tried to transition over to like Love and Hip Hop or Basketball Wives or something, because she was dating somebody.
Well, someone from the Bad Girls Club who did transition was Megan. She transitioned to Basketball Wives. Her and Jackie were friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a shame, and it's a shame. It's the same thing like Basketball Wives. Basketball Wives had a good, strong 2 shows. And then it got tired. It got too messy.
Yeah.
And it did. No, it did. Basketball Wives is definitely, did get absolutely just, because it was only so many times we could see Evelyn jump over a table and try to hit a bitch in the head with a bottle. It was only so much of that. It was only so much. I mean, it's only so much crazy we could see out of Jackie Christie before it's just like,
Jackie has showed her entire ass on Basketball Wives. Like, I will never forget the infamous scene where she was in that fucking dress that old girl made for her, and she was at that event, and she just went ballistic, like ripped herself out of her dress.
No, it was what it was for me? It was when she had that split lip. Uh-oh. Did we freeze?
Ran through the party with...
Shoot.
Okay, somebody interrupted my goddamn stream.
I swear, you got them demons in your Wi-Fi connection.
I'm on my hotspot because my Wi-Fi has been like acting stupid and people calling me. So I probably need to wrap this show up. But
okay.
Thank you so fucking much for coming up and joining me in this conversation.
I love talking about this kind of shit.
Look, I love it. And we have a lot more shit to talk about because there's some other things that I wanted to touch on that I didn't get to touch on because we got so carried the fuck away. So I'm going to probably come back tomorrow around the same time. So if you free, honey, and you not booked and you not busy, I need you to push through.
Okay. I'll push through if I catch it, while I'm sitting here,
Okay. It's
dealing
gonna be
with
the same time. Okay.
See you later, Conscious.
All right, love you.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there you guys go. This is a show I got to go because these phone calls about to start coming in and they're gonna be fucking up my hot spot. Nene Leaks, girl. I guess we're standing behind Miss Nene. I guess. And good luck. And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this lawsuit and what Bravo and Nene works out, because I'm interested in knowing what Miss Nene wants. She said she didn't want to talk publicly and get into detail about her situation with Bravo. So I'm just curious to know what she wants from these races. I'm just curious to know what she wants out of a personal conversation. I'm just curious to know what her demands are. Is it more money? You say you don't want to be back on the show, but do you really just want to be back on the show and you really want control and executive position and a higher pay? Because I don't know if I believe that Nene doesn't want to be on the show. I think Nene is not at a place yet where she can survive without that salary, because she made a lot of purchases due to her salary. Her home is one of those grandiose purchases. And I think that that bread and butter makes it easy for her to sustain her living. We know that when Phaedra Parks got axed from the show, Phaedra Parks had to sell boat houses and had to sell her extra homes and had to liquidate and subsidize all type of shit, okay, just to stay afloat, honey. So Miss Nene, I think Miss Nene wants to be on the show, but I'm just curious to know what's going on. I want to thank you guys, and I want to thank Lauren, and thank Eris Girl 30, and thank Jonathan, and thank what's my other boo? One of my other boos came through too. My other boo too. But thank you guys for coming through. Yeah, that's all from Miss Nene Leaks. I have some Tiffany Dover commentary to come and give you guys tomorrow, so I need you guys to be ready for that. That might be a pre-recorded situation depending on how I feel. However, if you have not caught up on the Tiffany Dover case, check out my last video, honey. Get into it, because we're going to be keeping our foot on that story's neck until we get some much needed answers. Okay, welcome to 2021. Okay, stay prayed up, stay blessed up, take nothing off these hoes. Okay, if you can do better all by yourself, then be by your motherfucking self, if it means doing much better. Okay, I love you guys, and I will see you guys later. Share, subscribe. Thumbs up. Haters, that go for you too. You're welcome in the kingdom, honey, because your click and your view turns into a Google AdSense check as well. So we love them all over here. Okay, I love you guys. Bye-bye. Woo-hoo.